Hey guys, this is the 2021 Toyota Highlander. We're here in beautiful Alabama Hills, California, and we're looking up at the summit of Mount Whitney, which is the highest point in North America. Alabama Hills have these crazy rock formations, as you can see behind me. This is the area where a lot of the John Wayne films were shot.
Leave them carry off their hurt and dead. Well, Reverend, that tears it.
So if it looks familiar, that's why. But I'm here to talk to you about this, the 2021 Toyota Highlander. So the Highlander has spent most of its life being called a mom car. And as a mom, frankly, I kind of take offense to that because the Highlander has its pros, but it certainly has its cons. Let's talk those through. A few things I really like about the Highlander is that the interior is really utilitarian. It is mainly covered in either rubber or plastic, which makes you feel like you can get it really dirty and it will clean up very well. In terms of the drive, the safety systems work really well. The adaptive cruise control is incredibly impressive. In terms of how it handles, I think it could do better. The Highlander comes in lots of trims. This one that we're looking at is the highest trim, the all-wheel drive. So, both of these are questionable upgrades. Do you really need all-wheel drive if you're not living in snow country? That is a question. This certainly adds a lot to the cost of the vehicle. So let's talk through whether or not it's truly worth it. Another thing that's nice about the design language in the all-wheel drive version is some of the protective coating it's got around the wheel well that'll keep you in that rock mode without ruining your paint job, which is cool. One of the things that's really nice about the 2021 Highlander is they have some of the new design language for Toyota. In some vehicles, I don't really dig it. It's a little dramatic, but in the Highlander, that was a little too rounded in the last gen. It gives it a little bit more character. I think it's cool. The transmission in the new Highlander is quite smooth. I did notice that when it was shifting up and down, I didn't have any issues. When I put it in manual mode, it was good. Also, in eco mode, it wasn't anemic, and that can be the case in many SUVs, particularly when they have a third row. Sport is fun, but it certainly is in the sports car, but none of you expect that. One thing that's really annoying about taking this thing on a road trip is that there's a lot of wind noise. And when you get to this high end of a trim, you're almost pushing $50,000. And for 50 grand, come on, man, you can figure out a way to make it quiet. I've taken this thing through its paces this week. I've driven from Los Angeles up to Lake Tahoe, over to Mammoth Mountain, and then back down again. And I've averaged about 25 miles to the gallon, which is great for a 3-row SUV. So the Highlander has a third row. You don't necessarily have to use your third row. You can just stuff it full of your family's junk. I've got 4 snowboards and a week's worth of snowboard gear in this vehicle, and enough that stuff is falling out. In terms of the layout of the cockpit, I'm having sort of a love-hate relationship with this Highlander. The good news is there are lots of places to put stuff. I've got my sunglasses in here, there are cup holders everywhere, phone charger, awesome. The controls on the steering wheel are fantastic. On the other hand, if you watch any of my other videos, you know that I am not alone in hating the Toyota interface. It makes me absolutely insane. But the Highlander has a particularly infuriating interface. Here's what it is. Rather than making it so that you can change whatever is on the screen right here, which is what a lot of auto manufacturers do, the only way you can change things are on the steering wheel or on the screen. And frankly, it's dangerous, it's distracting, and my arms don't reach. So if I were to be able to reach the screen, I'd have to drive like this. I really don't like it. It makes me kind of crazy. In terms of the interior and the finishes of this vehicle, there's a lot of it that feels really cheap. One infuriating thing is this, the infotainment screen. Why, oh why, does it have to be on a different plane than the dashboard? I don't know. They could have just cut it by 2 inches and then everything would be smooth and pretty. Could you please do that next time, Toyota? One more aspect of my love-hate with this vehicle is the navigation works great. The voice controls are fantastic, but look at this. Where did this come from? It's like they grabbed it off of another car and just slapped it on here. I think they could do better. So in this critical, very accessible area right here next to the gear shift, Toyota has chosen to put all of the off-road options, which frankly, most people aren't going to use on a daily basis. What you do use on a daily basis is your navigation, your phone, your radio, right? You want those things easily accessible. Instead, they've got the mud and sand and rock and hill descent controls right here. Be careful if you drive this car because the hill descent button is so easy to press. A child could do it with a backpack and the next thing you know, you're driving at 10 miles per hour and you don't know why. So in terms of the interior design and finishes in this car, listen, they feel kind of cheap. I'm not going to lie to you, but they also feel pretty indestructible, which is nice. There's a lot of plastic, there's a lot of this leather, there's whatever this stuff is that you can clean off, that's fine. But here's the thing. Look at this dashboard. Why does it have a million different planes? Why couldn't they just cut this down a little bit and make it smooth? I don't know, but if I had a chainsaw, I would do it myself. Right now I have it on the rock and dirt setting, which is helping me not slide down this hill, which is basically kitty litter.